Are we rolling?
Say, kids, what time is it?
The future is coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on.
Hey, folks. Welcome to the show. We're coming on to you from a beautiful day in Aptos, California, right down by the beach, one of our beach broadcasts with Mrs. Future in the studio here, the beach studio.
That's right. Riding the waves, the sound waves.
Yeah. And Bobby, our science correspondent in San Francisco. Bobby, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was there yesterday.
That's true. You were there.
Right. Yeah,
That's right.
Live
We
and in
all-
person.
Here together.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
fun.
great.
That was really great to have you here yesterday and
Yeah.
hang out and witness one of the most spectacular sunsets
Oh,
I've
wasn't
seen
it?
in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was driving off to see Taylor, I noticed that, yes, the sky, you had those dark clouds above, and then the sun was coming underneath the clouds. And I knew as you got closer to sunset, it was going to turn more orange and reddish. And it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a setup. I could tell when the sun was going down. It's going to light up the sky.
I was driving down Beach Drive, heading right toward the sunset, and it was like, wow, that was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Cool.
So one of the things you did up here, besides hanging out with us, was to visit our Apple correspondent, Taylor Barcroft. And
Yes.
can you give us a brief update on how he's doing since his stroke?
He's definitely not as mobile before, but his brain is still there.
Oh, good.
He is getting around more often than before, and so he is improving, but it is very slow. Definitely, once you go, the first time he had a stroke, it was just an emergency, and they sent him home after that, which they probably shouldn't have. But the second time, he was in the hospital for 10 days, and then he was in a nursing home for several weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
And they weren't taking him out walking. When you just don't move for a while,
Yeah.
you really lose your ambulatory
I
capabilities.
know you got to
and-
keep moving. I know that's
Yeah,
the-
you got to keep moving. That's the thing. Yeah.
So how's his voice?
Yeah, that was the weird thing. The first time, yes, he was slurring his words, but the second time, he called me when he went to the hospital. He was going, he gets excited,
Yeah.
but he's saying things and he doesn't realize that nobody can understand a single word that he says.
Oh, well, we'll have to have him on the show soon. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
No,
I couldn't understand, but I knew that he was trying to say something to the doctors and the nurses. And so I was telling him, you have to realize you think you're saying something, but nobody can understand a single word that he was saying. And so I told him, you have to stop and say one word at a time instead of trying to say a sentence. And then they slowly understood what he was requesting.
I was just
So-
thinking that a good use for Aura,
That's so
our
sad.
AI, would help him. If you can only say one word at a time slowly, you can say that to Aura, the AI, and then she can say the whole sentence really quickly for everybody else.
Yeah.
She won't wait long enough in the pauses.
Really? You don't think she pauses enough?
No.
Well, I guess it depends how
Her
his
settings
speed,
need to be
yeah.
adjusted for that. They wouldn't be ideal.
Okay, just a thought, another way in which these augmented tools can facilitate our awareness.
Yeah.
Right. His speech is maybe 80, 90% there.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's good. It sounded much
he's-
worse than that.
No, he's not slurring his words. He's pretty much there, which is the most important thing.
Right. Right, good. Yeah, that's
We just
important.
have to get him back walking again. That's all.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
The new iPhone next month. It'll be exciting. I just got a note from Ed Ellsworth, by the way.
Yeah, and he's actually waiting in the bleachers here.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Good,
I
yeah.
see Ed.
Yeah, we can bring
I
in and talk
see
to Ed for a few minutes. Ed is our dear friends who set up an interview with Tameo Brown, who's going to be coming on soon in about 20 minutes.
Right. Hey, were you just planning to lurk, Ed, or are you going to say something?
Yeah, I'm just lurking. I just got told I have an hour break, so we just finished the morning session.
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic. What great timing.
Yeah.
So I can back out and come back in at 1:30 if that's good, or I can hang out.
No,
Yeah,
hang out with
you're
us for a
welcome
minute.
to hang out, and
let's catch up with
Tamayo,
you while we can.
She'll
you
check
know?
in around 1:30. We did a little tech check with her earlier, so everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just say hi to Bobby. Hi, Bobby. And then I'll just be back in a few minutes at 10:30.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's great to see you, Ed. You got blue skies and trees behind you. It looks a little cloudy.
I'm at the
Yeah.
Ritz-Carlton. It's a nice place.
What's going on
Yeah.
there, Ed? Are you doing a gig there?
Yeah, there's a group of meeting planners basically bring more people to Maui to do business meetings. So that's what we're here for, to support that. We
Nice.
just had a conch shell blower and a bunch of hula dancers and just kind of the business as usual of trying to bring people to this island.
Yeah, I guess the whole COVID thing kind of cut down on visitations to there for a while. Yeah,
People's destinations kind of shifted, and also the attendees are younger and they're tending to go to cruise lines and stuff. So they kind of have to reach out to a new generation to pull them back in.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, it was sure great to visit you last year about this time. As a matter of fact, we spent some
Yeah.
time there.
So shall I go ahead and hang out on this call or should I leave?
No, come
No,
hang out.
yeah,
Okay, sure.
And
I'll
we'll
hang
just
out.
do a couple of articles while
Yeah,
we're
and
getting
I-
ready for tomorrow. And
yeah. And I had
okay.
I had a piece that I'm kind of curious about your thinking about dolphins and AI. Dolphin Gemini project. That have you heard about that? How Google AI is trying to decode dolphin communication?
Well, I'm glad they're trying to do that. And I don't know any details about it, but through the Whale Tales conference at the Ritz Kapalua, the Ritz that I'm at right here,
Yeah.
Google has been working with whaletrust.org, and they have kind of a high-tech surfboard that's out there that follows whale vocalizations, and they've been supposedly translating that. So I'm guessing they're using that same tech and applying it to dolphin vocalizations or ultrasound, but I haven't heard any details about it.
Okay, well, let's see. The article that we're looking at, it was reported on National Dolphin Day.
All
And
right.
it was about Google in collaboration with researchers at Georgia Tech. And they have the Wild Dolphin Project.
Oh, okay. That sounds like Denise Hertzig then in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah, that was. She won an
She's
award.
been out there at least 20 years connecting with the wild dolphins there.
Right.
Have you tracked her
Yeah,
research
since
at all?
85. Apparently.
No, I just talked to her when I went out to, I used to lead dolphin trips for Noetic Sciences out of Fort Lauderdale. And I talked to her at that time, and we didn't have a connection in terms of me going out on her boat, but I went on the boat that we took the Institute of Noetic Sciences board members and their guests. And
Yeah.
Right.
we swam with wild dolphins there. And it's really cool is you just anchor about 2 hours off the west end of the Bahamas.
Ah,
And it's 15 feet deep. It's a white sand bottom, and you
Oh,
can see all the
beautiful.
way to the bottom and see the dolphins. And the spotted dolphins show up and they want to swim with you. And they hang out for about 45 minutes. There's no chasing them around or anything.
Wow, great. Yeah, this article is talking about her project, which apparently is the world's longest running underwater dolphin research project. And
Yes.
they're studying a specific community of wild Atlantic spotted dolphins, as you said, the Stenella fronttails. And their policy is to be non-invasive. Their byline is in their world on their terms.
Yeah.
So,
And actually, I'm thinking back in time. It's 30 years that she's been out there. And I just remember one little video clip. I believe it was her circle, her group that showed that clip of someone thinking about to the dolphin, what would you like to tell us? And I think the dolphin brought up a trash bag.
wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like quit putting all your garbage in the ocean. That
Yeah, real
very interesting.
obvious message. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, stop littering.
It's
They're
either
very
that-
down to earth, those dolphins.
It's either that or a new version of the Leaf game.
Right.
What do you think? Somebody who's been in this for a long time, including knowing John Lilly, one of the pioneers in dolphin communications. What do you think John would say today? What would he be interested in about this field? What do you think with all the new tools available?
Well, I think that the biggest thing that he was a proponent of was people living by the ocean side and having access to dolphins that can come up to them naturally. And I think that's slowly evolving as a meme out there for people to create. I think that's the longstanding thing that people would like to have. And it's been depicted in movies, but I think people are starting to move that way in real life, you know, in the Florida Keys and in the Bahamas and the Mexican Caribbean and in Hawaii.
Do you see more habitats being created for that in which humans and dolphins can cohabitate?
I definitely see that. Right now, the transition is captive dolphins in sea pens. But as we saw when we went to the Bahamas, went into Freeport, because some of the people wanted to touch a dolphin. So the dolphins would tow them around, give them a dorsal tow. But then we would release 6 dolphins and we'd go out to the coral reef and scuba dive with them. And then we go back to the pens, and the dolphins would just go back. There was no netting them or hurting them. They were just going back to the pens like horses go back to the barn. So
Yeah.
there's a symbiotic relationship that's already developed with these various captive sea pen communities. And they're not really captive. The nets only go up to a foot or two above the water, and they could easily jump out if they wanted to. So they're certainly there by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful thought to propagate there is how much the animals in our world are choosing to create relationships with us, like if we deserve them, right? And just
Right.
like we would choose to hang out with people that made it fun for us, we would also choose to avoid people that made it horrible for us. And
Yes.
the
Yes.
dolphins are definitely quite capable of that.
Right. And so there's like 3 of these dolphin swim facilities in the Mexican Caribbean that I haven't gone to, but I've heard some good things about the relationship between the people there and the dolphins.
Mm-hmm. Nice. It sounds like the retreats that Tamayo participates in are very much meant to be personable with the dolphins in Captain Cook Bay there, right?
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with the group synergy that comes together there in the house and what they meditate on and think about collectively. And I think if they're in the right space, that's going to be an attractor to the dolphins. But they will be in the area where the dolphins frequent. But the intention basically is for the invitation to be there rather than people to just look for them. But I'm sure that will be created by the gathering.
Hmm.
Sure.
I've got a question. Do you find that a pod of dolphins will create a group mind?
They certainly do have a group mind, and they seem to be able to be picking up on what our thought processes are. I have a belief that they're very psychic, and they do pick up on what it is we're thinking about. They're also
Literally, you
very
think?
interactive in terms of, like if you visually see them and stuff and catch their eye and you show that you're receptive to them. I've even had them shape my behavior and move me around and stuff when they saw that I was receptive to some communication and some interaction with them.
Ah,
Cool.
And
That
with
they're
the wild
psychic.
dolphins, they actually will invite you and lead you around. As long as you're connecting with them, they will keep looking back and make sure you're still with them, and they'll start taking you places.
Wow. Do
Really?
you have to be a good swimmer for that?
It helps, but
Yeah, it
like
helps.
I say, it's fairly shallow. The coral reefs that we were in were only about 15, 20 feet deep. So any snorkeler can do that. You don't need scuba gear.
yeah. Did you find that you would develop any personal relationships with particular dolphins?
Well, I think you can only do that over time. So I would say Denise Hertzing has certainly done that. And our team that was the Janus Project, we had the opportunity in the Human Dolphin Foundation Project Janus to swim with the dolphins, Joe and Rosalie, every day. And we developed a very connected personal relationship with them. And they have very distinct personalities. And people would come and visit the Human Dolphin Foundation and donate to support our work. And they often would want to swim with them. And we would invite them to connect with the dolphin from the shore,
Yeah.
see eye to eye and get an actual invitation to come into the water to be with them rather than just kind of treat them like an animal that's not connected to you, not like a dog or a horse, in that you really want their invitation. You want their cooperation with going to swim in their space.
Yeah.
And sometimes when someone wasn't like that or their personality was angry or otherwise, sometimes Joe would actually hit that person. And when you're hit by a dolphin, it's 400 pounds.
Yeah. That hurt.
You kind of notice.
Oh, yeah. Right.
They might hit them with a dorsal fin and it really hurts. It could bruise you for weeks.
Wow. I remember when Robin Williams did his special, he was kind of hit by a dolphin for having some inappropriate thoughts or something.
Yeah, sometimes they don't like the intrusion. You really have to be welcome in their space. Otherwise, we found that, especially with the dolphins that we had in captivity, Joe and Rosalie, sometimes they felt encroached upon and might lash out. But they never would hurt a person. Like, for instance, even when I was involved with capturing them and netting them in the tanks, let's say to move them to the truck, to move them to the plane for release, even though they were really upset and my arm was right by their hand, they didn't try to bite me or break my arm or anything, even though they're extremely upset and letting us know about by their vocalizations, they wouldn't hurt us.
Wow. Yeah, because you were friends. So it was a little more of a relationship with a familiar, friendly animal.
Right. They'd warn you with their teeth. They might do a jaw clack where they would open their jaws and you'd see their teeth and then they snap it down and you could really feel the force of that energy coming off their mouth and you can hear the loud clack and you knew that they were upset. It was like a admonition, like
What are you doing? Why would you
Yeah,
do this to
stop.
me?
Stop that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Wow. Fascinating.
What do you think of ET connections with dolphins? Like, you were at Contact in the Desert doing the media for that there. Is there anything to that from your estimate?
Well, on the intellectual point of view, John Lilly and a lot of us thought that if we were ever going to communicate with aliens, we needed to at first try to communicate with other conscious beings on our planet. So I really respect the work that's been done with the gorillas and the chimpanzees and the dolphins in terms of pursuit of that kind of communication and connection. And maybe eventually we'll even have that with the greater whales, the humpback whales and the other baleen whales and the great toothed whale. I'd love to see what kind of communication we could have with a sperm whale, because I think they may be one of the oldest living whales that are around on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's a very interesting piece this week on about how if we want to understand or how to communicate with ETs, we need to communicate with other species on this planet,
Right.
for starters. And I mean, that's almost alien to us in terms of our
Right.
understanding.
And Joan Ocean, who's known for taking a lot of people out at the Galakukua Bay and being with the dolphins on the Big Island,
Yes.
he has a connection with Jean-Luc Bozzoli, and they've often shown the ET connection in his drawings, his artwork.
Mm.
But she talks a lot about communion with the whales and with ETs in her books and in person.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm wondering about the dolphins themselves and their consciousness. I mean, we have, our species can channel and bring in non-local information. I'm just wondering if they can too.
Well, you think, you look at our brain anatomy and you compare our brain to the dolphin brain,
Yeah.
and we have two hemispheres that have kind of a narrow pathway in between them. Their
Yeah.
pathway is much larger, and they have full conscious control over each hemisphere, so much so that they can have one hemisphere rest and sleep while the other hemisphere is awake and conscious. So in captivity, they would swim around in circles, and you'd see in the round tank, and you see the outer eye was open, and they're watching the outside of their circuit,
Yeah.
and their inner eye would be closed. So you'd see that hemisphere was asleep. So if they had that level of control over their brain, I would think the higher, what I consider higher communication functions like psi kinds of and other kinds of things that may be possible, they're much more advanced than we are, and they certainly would have whatever capabilities the brain gives us.
So they're waiting for us to catch up in a sense.
Oh yeah, they're millions of years older, and we're still the young ones.
They're waiting for us to be able to read their minds, you think?
Let's say they're tens of millions of years old, and how old are humans?
Way less.
We can say
Few
15,000 is the conservative view, but the ET community believes it's much more, and like maybe 200,000 or 300,000 years that humans have been around. And
Yeah. If they've been around that long.
They've
Maybe
been
it was
around way longer. Yeah.
a lot of stories about how the ETs played with DNA to create us from the monkeys, but maybe it was really the dolphins.
Or
And
maybe
you definitely see the compassion in them in terms of evolved beings. You see them, there's so many reports of swimmers suddenly having a circle of dolphins show up around them, and then they look down below and they see a shark.
Yeah.
We've been hearing more and more reports of humpback whales actively rescuing sea lions. Like sea lions will come up and jump on them because there's a killer whale in the water.
Wow.
And the humpback whales actually consciously cooperate with saving another being's life that's not even their own species.
Do you think that there's some kind of animal version of thou shalt not kill where people recognize that the danger is lethal and so they unite to prevent it?
I think so on some level. If you look at the dolphins and sperm whales, they're toothed whales. So they're actually different beings than the humpback whales, which are baleen whales that seem to have come more from, like, I don't want to say cows, but they're kind of more like the gentle giants of the sea. They're eating krill and smaller fish, whereas the killer whales are like the top of the dolphin and toothed whale chain, and they're definitely strong carnivores, and they're eating everything.
Yeah.
They're known to eat humpback whale tongues and dolphins and sea lions and penguins.
So they're the carnivores of the ocean
Right.
jungle.
And I would almost say like the baleen whales are kind of like the cows and other type of livestock, although they had to adapt to eating krill, shrimp, and various kinds of things like that that are smaller that they can filter through their baleen.
Yeah. And the killer whales like to eat them.
Yeah, they have
Good
a
steaks.
reputation for going after gray whales and humpback whales and eating their tongue.
Wow.
Wow. Just because it's a delicacy, huh?
I guess so. Or maybe there's just too much blubber to get through for the meat in terms of, actually trying to get to anything else.
Yeah. We've seen them frolic in the bay here, and they're mostly having fun until the meat eaters arrive, and then they want to separate one of the gray babies for a nice feast.
We're just about at the time where we take our break and have a few words from Santa Cruz Voice, and we've also been joined by our guest, Tamaya Brown.
And we're gonna bring everybody on right after a commercial break.
Yes, so
All
hang
right.
tight, and we'll be right back and talk some more about our cetacean friends.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
All right.
Yay.
See you
Stand by.
shortly. Okay.
It's hot up here. Hi, folks. Warren Knox here of Knox Roofing. Yes, it really does get hot up here, but it's okay because Knox team has been sweating it out on rooftops for 30 summers to make certain your roof will keep you warm and dry through the winter. If you have any doubt about your roof will weather the winter, call Knox Roofing today and ask about a free rooftop inspection. We love it up here. 461-0634. Thanks, folks.
You need a clean, pleasant space to conduct business, but you don't want the burden of a long, expensive lease. Your solution is Satellite Co-working and Digital Media Studio on Soquel Avenue. Satellite offers private offices, meeting and conference rooms, even co-working by the hour, day, week, or month. Schedule a tour at satellitecoworking.com. Mention Santa Cruz Voice for 20% off your first reservation.
Get ready to help build one of America's first local news and talk streaming radio stations. SantaCruzVoice.com. How do you do it? By donating either your time, money, or both. You'll be helping the Voice team construct a powerful infrastructure, one that we can all be proud of. To donate your time, your money, or both, go to SantaCruzVoice.com and click support. SantaCruzVoice.com and click support.
It's high time to celebrate the opening of the new Hook Outlet Dispensary, 1129 Mission in Santa Cruz. Get in on the opening fun and really low prices on the Hook's unmatched selection of top quality medical and recreational cannabis flower, vapes, drinks, gummies, and concentrates. The Hook Outlet is now the West Side's source for finest cannabis at the lowest prices. Get in on all the opening fun and low prices at the all-new Hook Outlet. HookOutlet.com for details and deals.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Back to the Future Now show. And we have our special guest on today, Tamaya Brown. She's got quite an interesting connection with these dolphins as well. As a matter of fact, Ed, perhaps you could introduce Tamaya to our audience.
Tamaya has been leading retreats in the Big Island for 30 years or more, and she is adept in yoga and healing arts, and she's had a lot of experience in the wild with dolphins and has a lot to say about her interactions with them over the years.
Excellent.
She's also a very well-rounded person and has a lot of other interests and experiences too that might come up.
A renaissance being in our midst.
Yes.
Very good. Well, welcome, Tamaya.
Aloha, Alan. Thank you
Hey.
for having me on the show. I've heard a lot about your show, so I'm really excited to be part of it today.
Oh, it's great to have you. Great to have you. And it's a surprise to have Ed. We're blessed to have Ed come and had a break just at this time on his work. So,
Yay.
yeah. First of all, how do you two know each other initially? Was it through dolphins or
Or is it just a benefit of being in the Maui tribe?
Yeah, you both live in Maui.
Maui family, my Maui family connection.
Yeah, definitely. We've both been on the island for a long time, and I've gravitated to a lot of my friends that were sannyasins in upcountry, and Tanmaya was certainly one of those.
Okay. Yeah. So how would you characterize the Maui family?
Well, I would say the Maui family is really something that has been set up in the 70s and the 80s. A lot of people came to Maui and wanting to explore a freer lifestyle, and a lot of them living off the grid and setting up communities. When I came, it was the late 80s, and I was kind of running away from Los Angeles after completing my yoga teacher certification because I needed to be in a place that was more supportive to my spiritual growth. And I came to Maui for actually a in-depth yoga training with Patabi Joyce, as I was really into Ashtanga yoga at the time. And I just found such exciting, inspiring people that were so creative and so connected with spiritually that I really felt like this would be a really good place for me to move to. And I made the move in 88, and I've been here ever since.
Amazing.
And it's been evolving as the rest of the world has, but I still feel like it's a safe haven. And my time on the Big Island in Hawaii has also brought me closer to the Hawaiian spirituality, which I also study deeply with my connection with Lomi Lomi massage, which is my main practice. And I'm not teaching yoga or doing retreats, I'm also teaching Lomi Lomi. And my teacher, Auntie Margaret, lives on the Big Island. So when I went to the Big Island, I was initiated by her, and she's one of the foremost lineage bearer in the tradition of Huna and Hawaiian Lomi Lomi. I also study hula. So the Maui family is many people that do different things. Some of you may know Reverend Kedar, who has the Temple of Peace, which is a wonderful place to rejuvenate and connect with like-minded people. There's some amazing permaculturists like Steve-O. There's people that like who do the Tara dance practices. Just a lot of really amazing elders that embrace me, and now I'm becoming one of those elders. So I'm happy to introduce younger people to what Maui has to offer in ways of spirituality, tradition, and spiritual practices.
Oh, well, I think that's a really nice segue to talk a little bit about the dolphin retreats that you offer and give people a little glimpse.
So what happened is in the late 90s, I had some friends who were also initiated by Osho, which was one of my first teachers when I was in my early 20s. And they invited me to this dolphin retreat. And it was at a time where it was a buzz. I had another friend that said, oh, I just swam with dolphins on this really secret beach, and would you come with me? And she enrolled a bunch of people to go. And I was the only one that saw the dolphin, which was really strange because everybody was waiting on the beach. And I got tired of waiting on the beach, so I just went for a nice snorkel. And all of a sudden, a dolphin jumped out of the water. And I just got overwhelmed by joy, by tears, by laughter. And it was the most unique experience I ever had. So after that, I was, of course, very interested in pursuing that connection that was established. And when my friends invited me, I was reading John Ocean's book called The Dolphin Connection. And that book is really interesting for people that are wondering about the healing power of the dolphins and what they can do for people. But I didn't think anything of it. Next thing I know, we're at this amazing home and we have access to the ocean and we get in the water really early and we all start oming and calling the dolphins and nothing was happening. So I just decided to float in the water and wait. And then in a very short amount of time, I started feeling a shift in my body and I heard this music that can only be described as celestial music. It was like a sound inside my head. And I knew they were here. And I looked down and there was this beautiful blonde mermaid in a whole pod of dolphins swimming that were surrounding her. And before I knew it, I had a dolphin on the right, a dolphin on the left, and I was inside the pod. And that was my initiation. Wow. I learned later on that that was Joan Ocean herself, who was at the time on that very same day. So that was my first experience. It was in 97, I believe. And then my friends, some things changed. They had some life change and they left the island. They separated actually, and they left the island. And I was really left with that longing to reconnect with that pod. And so next time I was on the Big Island, I basically told my partner, Chris, at the time, if the dolphins are there, that means I'm supposed to start renting the house and allowing for human dolphin encounters because it was so life-changing for me. So we got to the bay at a very late hour, which is not common for the dolphins to show up at those late hours, but morning, that's when we showed up and all these tourists were turning around saying, no, there's no dolphins. So we decided to stay a little while and just connect telepathically with them. And then all of a sudden there they were. They showed up. So we got in the water and they were all around us. And it was another like finding a long lost friend. It was very heartwarming and wonderful. So I said, okay, I'm going to see about renting the house and bringing a group of people together. This was in 98. And since then, it's not quite 30 years, but close.
Yeah.
And since then, I have done over 60 retreats. So the last one was number 61. My next one, that's actually in a little over a week from now, about 10 days. That one still has a couple spaces open. And it is going to be 62nd retreat that I'm done. So people ask me, where am I guaranteed to see dolphins? And I always say, well, and I'm speaking the truth, I've had 100% success. That's all I can say, you know. So every time it's kind of like, yes, let's see what happens. And every retreat is so unique and so wonderful. It seems like somehow people that are attracted to dolphins are people that are very easygoing, playful, kind, having that kind of group mind, because the dolphins really elicit this group mind, and I can elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm interested.
And we always have an amazing time, and we stay in touch. I have a lot of returning people that have gone like 3 times or more and keep coming. We serve delicious island food, and we just have an amazing time, because nowadays it's a lot harder to just go on your own and rent a kayak. They've had some pretty strict laws, and I understand that. We don't want people abusing the dolphins and making a full-time business out of it, and not allowing people to be taught sufficiently how to approach these wild animals. When you approach wild animals, you always have to respect that this is their habitat. And I always emphasize letting the dolphins come to us if they will to, and not chasing them. There's been a ban on kayaks going into the bay. No vessel can come in. But because we have riparian right by renting the same house for the past 20-some years, we always have our kayaks that are registered with the fisheries, and we're allowed to go in the kayaks. If we decide to swim and the dolphins decide to come, that's great. If you just want to watch them respectful from the kayaks, that's great. If you're snorkeling and they come, what can you do, right? And so
that's the fun part.
We've been able to continue to have these retreats. Go ahead.
Is it true we're not supposed to touch them?
So I've never touched them, but what happened is they've touched me. So
in more ways than one, I can say.
So of course, I always tell people, when you swim, you want to actually practice your undulation move, which is almost like kind of a tantric belly dance practice, when you just undulate with your whole spine and your legs, and you keep your arms along the side, because it's been documented often that reaching out with your arms, it's interesting how the word arm is the same for weapons. So it's the only language in the world that has the same word. But we try to keep our arms along the side as much as possible. But I don't want to give away all the secrets, of course. But there's many ways to call dolphins. They're very telepathic, and when we hold them with love in our mind's eye, they're much more likely to come.
I have a question coming in regarding the connection between yoga and dolphins. Do you do yoga with the dolphins, or what? How does that work?
Well, this house is an amazing location, because you can see the dolphins in the morning when you sit on your bed in your bedroom. Most of the bedrooms are over 180-degree ocean view, and you can view the dolphins. So the yoga room is also, we can view the dolphins and we can feel their presence, because this house has been hosting so many dolphin retreats. There's dolphin art on the walls. So the yoga that I've developed over the years is, I like to call it dolphin yoga, because it helps people get in touch with their spine and that core strength and that undulation. Also, I want to say that the dolphins are great meditators, and they embody that presence, that sense of just being fully embodied in the moment, which is what the aim of yoga is. But also they are conscious breathers. Their breathing is not an automatic function. So they have to come up to the surface. So they never completely sleep. But the main thing is, like, yoga is an attempt to become conscious breathers as well. So in this way, I feel like it's very aligned to do dolphin yoga.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just wanted to mention that it's definitely the consciousness that you have that attracts the dolphins, and just like Joan Ocean. And one of the things that attracted me to Kealakekua Bay is I knew Joan Ocean back in 1990, and I was actually living in Switzerland at the time, and I came to swim at the Point House at that time, and I fell in love with Hawaii, and that's why I actually moved here. But I wanted to mention that John Lilly, when he worked with captive dolphins in the Virgin Islands, he actually created some plexiglass forms that he moved the dolphins into. And he found that they were really, really flexible. And I saw pictures of dolphins that had folded themselves in various kinds of what could be considered yoga postures. So they actually were able to do that. And we found that we could commune with the dolphins. Another way, too, is with the isolation tank, by getting really quiet in your mind and going into that soft kind of contemplative space, and then going out to swim with the dolphins. I would always have a good connection with them when I did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Joan Ocean a little bit earlier too, and they were asking about her connection with ETs. I don't know if you'd had any kind of connection with dolphins and any other beings.
Well, it's a very personal thing. Many people report that they have guides in other galaxies, and Joan Ocean is one of them. And she's kind of retired from doing dolphin retreats. She has a ranch, and she might do once a year, like a boat trip, but she's definitely been interested in extraterrestrial communication. I'm more interested in this planet myself, and I'm not discouraging that. And I've heard a lot of different reports that the dolphins are from Sirius, that the dolphins have been coming just like us from the Pleiades, and that they have a connection with the Pleiadians. And I personally have a very strong connection with the Pleiades, and I always find my eyes going to them in the sky. And the sky is absolutely amazing in that bay, of course.
Yes.
And we're going at the full moon, so we might not see as many celestial bodies, but we will definitely see a beautiful red moon setting in the ocean as the sun rises over the mountain. And that's the illuminated time where the dolphins get the most playful and start jumping and frolicking.
Amazing. Wow. The night there is amazing in terms of the sky.
Oh, yeah.
Being in the water at night might be, I can only imagine.
Well, yeah, the ocean is omnipresent in that house, and it's the best thing next to being on a ship.
I've also heard that the way to the stars is through the sea. So perhaps the dolphins are linked to other intelligences once we connect with a species so close to us.
You could say the other way. You could say that the way through the sea is through the stars, because this is how the Hawaiians navigated, is from looking at the stars when they were in the middle of the ocean. So that presence of the stars is definitely
that's true.
Very important.
Some kind of Mobius loop through time and space.
And there's no street lights, so we get a very good ocean.
The bay is also famous for being a sacred spot for the kahunas, I believe. That they're
the Hawaiian temple called Heiau, that's right by the house, is an amazing ancient temple that's been very well preserved. And it was a fertility temple, not the kind of temple where they did human sacrifice. I was happy to hear that. It still has a phallic stone, like a Shiva lingam, and it's open to visitors. And we've been going there and doing some invocation and prayers and meditations there. The whole place is very sacred. Actually, Kealakekua means gateway to the divine. So it says it right there. It's a portal. I'm not surprised that people are experiencing different types of transmissions there, because it really is a portal, kind of like out of time. It was a big portal in physical history, because this is where Captain Cook first discovered the islands, and that's where he found his end.
Yes.
And it's the birthplace of Kamehameha, who was the big bad bully, but he was also operational in creating a unified kingdom for Hawaii and giving Hawaii a place in international diplomacy.
Yeah, it's an amazing bay.
It's a place of history. And then the city of refuge is very nearby. And the city of refuge is a place where there's always been peace and there's never been any bloodshed. And it's a place where the kahunas would go and get initiated. And so we go visit that place, and we do a lot of Ho'oponopono. I've been initiated in the teachings of Huna as well as Hula. And so we share chants, we share culture, we share some ritual to release into the ocean what we no longer want to carry, and do rituals of letting go and forgiveness. Yeah, it's a very powerful place to
it's
be doing
interesting
those
that
kind of practices. But mostly we have a great time and we celebrate life because I think what dolphins bring is that childlike innocence of play. And they're such good teachers for us that are struggling with so many issues as a society, and to see a society of like-minded beings that are also nursing their young, creating family bonds, and you don't see any males fighting, you don't see any single mother left alone. They can be teachers in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a question coming in about media. Are you allowed to photograph them?
Yeah, there's no ban on taking photographs underwater or above water.
Great.
But of course, if the photographs document you chasing them, then that's evidence and you may have to deal with it. So.
Yeah, that's true. You want the opposite.
Yeah, you want them coming at you.
Right.
Now, I wondered, Tamayo, do you have any personal relationships with dolphins where you recognize them and have a history with them? Or is that not really the way that you experience the dolphin family?
I have to say two things about that. It's a really good question, actually. I feel like when I was doing 4 or 5 retreats a year, I would recognize some of the pods. But there are several pods that come in this bay. There's a joke that dolphins are a little bit like hippie, like they come to the party with some friends and they might leave with some different friends. So there's a lot of interaction with the dolphin parties where they all come together as pods and they might live in different pods. Oh. And so there's a lot of mixing, but definitely within the 5-day retreat or week-long retreats that I hold, I have totally been able to make friends and recognize mothers and juveniles and elders. They have some significant marks once you get to know them, of course. And I've had dolphins follow up on conversations with me, actually. Wordless communication. But
what's that like? What kind of things would they communicate with you
so
about?
there's a game that dolphins love to play besides making bubble art, which is really fun. Like sometimes they send me a bubble. It's either a big flying saucer kind of bubble that explodes in my solar plexus, or maybe a bunch of tiny bubbles that wrap around my neck like a lei. And I'm not making this up. They're very adept at making very elaborate bubble art. The other thing that they do is they like to play tag with leaves that float on the ocean.
How does that work?
So one dolphin will hold the leaf under its fin and then let it go. And then it's up to the next dolphin to chase the leaf, catch it with its snout or its fin or its tail. There are 3 ways that they hold the leaf. Mm-hmm. So one afternoon, we had just arrived and we wanted to go kayaking, and we went kayaking, and I was just like, okay, I'll bring a leaf, I'll just bring a leaf. They're always happy to have a leaf to play with. Yeah. When there's no storms, there's not too many leaves in the ocean. So I brought a leaf, and then I went for a swim, and there was this pod, but they didn't look like they were interested in playing. In the afternoon, they mostly rest, and we don't chase them. We just, if we see them going underneath us, that's just a nice blessing. Okay, they're here, we feel their presence, and we just enjoy our day in the ocean. And then I left the leaf there. And, leaves are kind of unique, and especially their color and their shape. And so I left that leaf there. And then the next day, in the morning, they were calling us. They were jumping. So we were just like, okay, let's get the kayaks and let's go and see if they continue to invite us to play. And so we did that. And then we didn't see them right away, but we got in the water and we started swimming, and we were having a great time with our own human pod, which is also really part of the fun, of course. Yeah. And then this dolphin came all of a sudden, and he had the leaf under his fin. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he let it go. He passed me very fast, and he let this leaf go. And then I go to catch it, and then he catches it with his tail. And I swear, he turns around and laughs at me. Like he pretended to let it go with his snout or his fin. I can't remember if it was the snout or the fin. And then by the time I go to catch it, he catches it with his tail, and then turns around and looks at me, talking about flexible, and neuroplasticity. It's pretty fun.
Oh, that is adorable. Well, listen, we got about 1 minute before the top of the hour.
Oh my God,
here.
I can't believe it.
I know, time flies when you're having this much fun. It's been so wonderful having you on. Do you want to put out some information for people to contact you about retreats?
Okay, so I have a few websites. The one that's about dolphins is called dolphinyogaretreat.com. It's pretty simple and explanatory.
Dolphinyogaretreat.com.
It's a place to transform and experience spontaneous healing and go deeper into yourself and meditate, improve your yoga practice. I also have a website called mauiwellness.com, and it talks more about my activities on Maui. The other one that I'm building with Ed's help is Tanmay Yoga, and it's more like worldwide because for the next couple years I started taking people to India, which was my first place of experiencing. And I have to say that I've met some enlightened beings in India, and the dolphins experience is the closest to having darshan.
Wow, well, that's saying
Thank you
something.
so
Well,
much.
well, we're
All
going,
right.
we're going for a hard
Tamaya
break for the
Brown,
news. So
Ed
thank
Ellsworth.
you. Thank you so much for being on the show. We
Oh, you're
appreciate it.
welcome. I'm glad
Thanks for the
you.
invitation.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So September 5th
September
is the
5th.
next one.
Yes. Okay. We'll put that
You
in
come.
our literature.
That was perfect.
Thank you.
What you see, motionless sweet, nothing is real. Wasting my time in the waiting line. Do you believe in what you see? Everyone saying
Okay. Welcome back to the show. That was Tamayo Brown in our last segment.
And Ed Ellsworth.
Ed Ellsworth, yes.
Two old Maui buddies that we really are fond of. Boy, aren't they living the dream?
Yes, they're in paradise, truly.
September 5th through 10th is their dolphin yoga retreat when they're looking for adventure seekers and relaxation enthusiasts. 6 years. So you might wonder what this all-inclusive package might cost.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Sounded like she's got 2 slots left out. Let's go for it.
You got daily yoga and meditation. You got your hula workshop. You got your qigong. You got your sound healing class, live music, sacred geometry, herbal walks, and kayaking and snorkeling, and the dolphins.
Oh.
It's an oceanfront mansion.
$240 for a week in the Mermaid Mansion. That's great.
But starting at $1880.
That's per person.
Yeah. Those are rooms. $22.40 is
different
the garden room. And the master bedroom is $4,040. That's for 6 days, all-inclusive package. Hot tub overlooking the ocean, shuttle to the airport, 3 meals a day. Vegan options from $18.80 to $4,040.
Well, it's a very wonderful package for an all-inclusive Maui vacation.
Yeah, and connection with the dolphins is truly a life-changing event. It's contact with another species that's intelligent and yet alien to human intelligence.
They
anyway.
probably think we're the aliens.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
It's like, what are you aliens doing calling us the aliens?
And one of the fascinating things is that you will meet aliens there, or strange people at the very least. Interesting ones, too. It's one of those spots on the world where things happen. That's why the Kahunas not only had a sacred temple there, they also, on the side of the cliff in Kealakekua Bay, is where they're buried. They're buried in little caves on a cliff, which overlook the entire bay and the ocean. And as we had mentioned, that's where Captain Cook met his demise. It's also where he discovered Hawaii, same place, rich with history. As a matter of fact, there's a little piece of land there that I believe is British territory. Just a little island that has Captain Cook, or some kind of international status that is outside of the normal U.S. jurisdiction. Very
Sounds
interesting.
like a good question for your favorite.
Yeah, I have to
your
ask her
favorite
about
AI.
that. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that. This particular retreat is
It's September 5th. It's less than 2 weeks away.
Right. This is on the Big Island, right? As opposed to Maui.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's
yeah.
right. The Big Island.
Because I've done a little snorkeling there in Kalakakoa Bay and then swam to Captain Cook. There's a little
a
The
little
monument where he died.
monument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's
have
the
a little
land. That's the
dock.
land that might actually not be fully U.S. territory. Hey, ChatGPT, is it true that the Captain Cook monument in Kealakekua Bay on the Big Island was deeded to the British government? And is it still British territory?
Yes, that is true. Back in 1877, the Kingdom of Hawaii actually deeded the land where the Captain Cook Monument is located to the United Kingdom. So it's technically considered British soil. Already interesting piece of history.
So we have another special guest coming at about 2:30 or so. So let's try to get some of our stories done in this half hour.
That's
There,
it.
shall we?
Time is real, Dr. Future.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've been covering the 3i Atlas object as it's approaching
What's the latest with
asteroid.
our mysterious interstellar visitor?
Well, our scientists have aimed the James Webb at it.
Ooh, all right.
NASA's
Top resolution.
Shiny new $10 billion space telescope.
And we can check out the infrared and all
That's
kinds
right.
of channels of new information.
That's right. I got a couple pieces up on our links page about this,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a preprint that's describing an investigation by the James Webb of 3i Atlas. They had never had a chance to study something like this from another star system before, so it was really a primary issue.
This is I guess they weren't looking at it last year. We had another interstellar object last year.
Yeah, we have 3 of them so far.
And you're right, the other one was like 2017 or something.
Boris, Uamamau was the Hawaiian name.
For the 2017 one. Mm-hmm. But so they pointed the James Webb at it.
So
and
usually when a comet goes towards the sun and it's warmed by its heat, the frozen materials inside it start to become gaseous.
Right.
They go
Yeah,
from
because the
solid
sun
to
warms it up and the ice melts, and then that becomes
vapor.
A vapor that makes it a comet. Mm-hmm.
So they call it an outgassing experience for the comet. It creates that characteristic tail, that halo, or they call in the astronomy world the coma of a comet.
Okay, a comet has a coma, huh?
That's right.
It's a little dream all around it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They start looking at that coma, what it is, and then they can analyze it. It's like so much can be learned just by the way in which material
what colors are coming off of it, right?
interacts with light. Yeah, what colors, the spectrum.
Right.
They've been analyzing it. There's a setup to look at carbon dioxide content, water ice, carbon monoxide, interestingly enough, and the smelly gas known as carbonyl sulfide, all of which have been seen in comets in the past.
Okay.
So they looked at it.
Some expected, some things they expected.
Yeah, what wasn't quite normal with it was that it had the highest ratio of carbon dioxide to water ever observed in a comet.
Carbon dioxide,
More
huh?
carbon
Does
dioxide.
that mean they're burning something? How
don't
did
know.
they get
I mean, that's
carbon
the next-
dioxide in the
That's
atmosphere?
the next mystery. The scientists are going to think about that for a while and see why more carbon dioxide in the water. What's going on?
Right.
What creates...
Well, and you combine that with the other observations from the Harvard astronomer who thinks it might be an ET, who says that it's too bright for the light to be explained by the reflection of the sun. And so he thinks that there's some internal illumination. So maybe there's a rocket in there.
Yeah, there's
maybe somebody's burning something.
Yeah. Carbon dioxide in fresh water is mostly created by the decomposition of organic matter by bacteria
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so there's something alive then.
and other microorganisms.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Which release carbon dioxide is a byproduct of their respiration. It could be more carbon dioxide, an indication of organic matter of some sort. However, that's not necessarily. Carbon dioxide can be produced when carbon-containing rocks like limestone are gradually dissolved by water. They call that chemical weathering.
Okay.
Yeah. That, and also we know that some fish and invertebrates produce carbon dioxide through their cellular respiration, and they put it out in the water.
So these are all possibilities.
These are all
For
possibilities.
this
So that's the
comet?
next level of investigation.
Life
yeah.
forms on a little tiny planetoid.
Now we know that there's more carbon dioxide. The next question is, well, why? What is it about the combination of stuff there that would result in higher carbon dioxide?
My mind
Content.
is reeling.
Yeah.
What could it be?
Yeah. Something fishy.
Something
It's a
fishy.
fishy issue here.
Or something composted.
Yeah.
Well, look at this. It says that some of the previous research has revealed that this interstellar comet could actually be around 7 billion years old.
Well, that's it. It's much older than our solar system. So whatever it is, it's going to be alien.
It's the oldest thing that's ever come near here.
That's right.
Yeah.
That
As
we
far
know
as we
of.
know. Yeah, boy, we thought of that at the same time. Yeah. Fascinating, don't you think?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Epic.
So I have a piece on this, both from a more purely scientific point of view in space.com, and I have something a little bit more speculative that gets into possibly the alien question by Avi Loeb, the astrophysicist at Harvard.
So what does he make of the JWEB data?
You'll have to read it.
I'd be happy to. Did you post a link?
I did. I posted a link.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Medium.
Yeah, that's right. You subscribe to Medium?
It's showing up, so I guess there's no paywall.
Yeah. See, if I tell you everything, then why would you? Goes our neighbors.
Yeah, we are on a busy street across from the beach.
Yeah, it used to be
Sorry
at the
about
very
that.
end of our street. Hell's Angels had an outpost.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was.
They sold that house after the big storm.
They lost it after the last raid.
You act like you know. What do you know?
More than you.
you're letting on?
More than
Well,
you.
that's generally true.
Whatever it is.
My job is comic relief.
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
Not expertise. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're Gracie. Don't forget it.
That's right. That's right. I do my best to make sense, but it's got to be right here under my nose.
I know. Keen sense of the obvious.
Yep.
I do appreciate you. You do pull in some strange and unusual new information for us all the time. Yes,
I do stay observant.
yeah, you do. You do. They're going to have more news about this carbon dioxide thing as time goes on. If you want to know more now, check our links page at drfutureshow.com/links. Let's just say there might be more to the CO2 than inorganics.
Not only is there more than we imagine, there's more than we can imagine.
But we do imagine some good things. One of the big imagination, the idea of a holy grail is to be able to create artificial photosynthesis. There's some news in the world about that. There's a new 4-charge storage molecule to advanced artificial photosynthesis from the University of Basel, Switzerland. It's a molecule modeled on plant photosynthesis. Under light, it stores 2 positive and 2 negative charges at the same time. This is with an aim to convert sunlight into carbon neutral fuels.
Wow, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah. There's so much sunlight here, so why not use other processes than what solar panels are using? What about photosynthesis? Can't we do something like that?
Yeah, wasn't there a guy that was looking, he got the Nobel Prize for discovering the structure of chlorophyll, what was happening? Water was actually being split, which normally takes electrolysis or other things to split the hydrogen and oxygen apart.
Why not get biology to do it?
Yeah, you get chemistry to do it,
Yeah.
to lower the electrical potential so that it doesn't take that much energy to split the water. And then you can use the oxygen and the hydrogen as a fuel.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. That would shift the fuel industry dramatically.
Yeah. So if you could do it chemically, that would be the holy grail.
Lowest
Yeah.
overhead, right?
Yeah.
A chemical solution to hydrolysis. How do you reduce the energy that it takes to split hydrogen and oxygen in water? Because if we can do that easily and cheaply, then we got cheap energy, folks. Really cheap energy.
Ooh.
Plants have been doing this for
Forever, right?
forever.
Yeah.
And so,
So it only makes sense that we would try to figure out how nature does that.
yeah.
Or find out other ways that could come up with the same result.
Yeah.
We're having a race on power. We're going between such approaches like this with harnessing the sunlight versus fission energy versus fusion, never mind wind and normal solar that we're all so familiar with today.
So it sounds like this invention basically tries to synthesize, it wants to be a go-between between sunlight and plants and batteries. It connects those 3 things.
If you can split water, which is hydrogen and oxygen apart with very low potential, it doesn't take a lot of energy. And we're just doing a chemical process here. Not only when you bring the water back together, it creates heat. And so you can burn it like a fuel. That's how the space shuttle, the main space shuttle, was actually going into space, was just burning hydrogen and oxygen together. And so if you could do that where it didn't take all that energy to split the water like that, you would have a tremendous amount of energy. So what you're doing is you're taking light and converting it into a chemical reaction. It's a transducer, so it's taking one type of energy and turning it into another form of energy.
But what about this storage aspect of this invention? This
Well,
idea that it's storing four electrons. It's got two positives and two negatives. That seems to be the big shift, the big difference, in that it's getting that beat through a photosynthesis process.
Yeah, I haven't looked at this. I will look into this because this is amazing. This is the holy grail if they really have this down.
Oh.
Where it takes low energy to split water, because not only when you split the water, you have this tremendous fuel and storage of energy that's converted from light into chemical energy, and you create fire.
Yeah.
It's a chemical reaction. And when you're finished, you have absolutely pure water.
Wow.
There is no toxic compounds that are off-gassing off this chemical reaction. You have this bright explosion of light and energy. You can propel the space shuttle into space. What's left is just a cloud, like a water cloud.
Nice.
That's what's left of pure water. For it to take light and convert it into this form and transform it into this form is the holy grail.
Right.
It enables carbon neutral solar fuel. We'll be able to create high energy fuels.
Just from sunlight.
Yeah, hydrogen, methanol, and synthetic gasoline.
Whoa.
Isn't that exciting?
This could fuel all the hydrogen cars that are supposed to be out here.
That's right. And make hydrogen a major player with electric cars.
Yeah.
That's what we want, right? More energy?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, taking the free energy that's coming from the sun and then converting it chemically into hydrogen, splitting off the hydrogen, that's amazing.
Apparently, the two positive and two negative charges is mimicking a natural plant photosynthesis process that we've finally achieved, simultaneously storing two positive and two negative charges.
All right. Well, let's keep making
Keep
things
going.
more
We've got
like
some more
nature.
stories here, but that is, I thought, an interesting breakthrough.
All right. We also have 3 minutes till our break.
We do?
Yeah.
I got a couple short stories here. Tesla's full self-driving mode was recently proven to actually be 10 times safer than a human driver in terms of accident frequency. It looks really, really good, at least so far on paper. You hear about these stories that are scary about full self-driving,
right?
But the stats indicate that it's 10 times more safer than human drivers overall. 10 times the number of miles between accidents.
Wow. I'm sure the insurance companies are happy about this.
Well, yeah, the rates will indicate whether or not they believe it. Right.
Yeah.
That could be a way in which we can gauge the success of this. What's interesting also is that they're making it available for an outright purchase of $8,000 on top of what you're already paying for your Tesla. Or you can do full self-driving for $99 a month. So you're paying your driver $99 a month. And this enables the software to do most of the legwork of driving. You still have to keep your eyes on the road, and you have to be prepared to take over if something goes wrong. But overall, you can relax. They recently released a video, Tesla, from going from the Bay Area to Los Angeles, like a 7-hour trip without a single intervention ever needed.
Wow. That changes. For instance, for Taylor, he has a car, but when he started driving it, he immediately had a couple accidents with it. They weren't bad. I mean, he didn't hit anybody.
Full self-driving will do far better. Yeah, I think so. For the physically and mentally disabled, also.
And you can go partying, and if you're into alcohol, you don't have to be worried that you're going to kill somebody behind the wheel.
Right, exactly. I think the promise is great, and the delivery is what we're all worried about. Hopefully that it won't result in some disaster like the Hindenburg that everyone will never forget. And that's the end of self-driving. Hoping nothing like that happens.
Yeah. We did hear like last year, one of those, the semi trucks, they had a problem with that. But was it the self-driving or was it the lithium batteries? I don't know, but it was on fire. I remember.
Yeah. No, you don't want it to like all drive off a cliff.
Yeah.
There was one movie I saw where a bunch of Teslas all started liberating themselves from their owners and driving down a freeway together as a pack. It's starting to hit into the creative world of
the full autonomy.
full autonomy.
Yeah.
Be very afraid of your car.
Well, there's always fear around losing control. So I lost control. Well, you lost control when you let it drive in the first place. So if you're losing, if you're losing control is your issue, you've got an issue.
Yeah, you've got an issue.
Frees up so many people.
It does.
It does. Think of all the people that have to have a driver. And for $99 a month, how much do you think you would have to pay a driver?
Every time you jump in an Uber or a taxi, it's way more than that.
Right.
Oh, well,
Right.
not way more, but
Yeah, $8,000 for some people is not much, but for most people, I think the $99 is very attractive.
yeah, if you use your car a lot and,
Yeah.
and you don't want to have to drive, and you wonder if you're going to be able to be allowed to do this if you had a DUI and you're not allowed to drive full self-driving. But anyway, a lot of legal issues come to mind. Anyway, we got to go to a break. We'll see you in a few. We'll be right back.
Okay.
The Santa Cruz County Fair opens Wednesday, September 10th with FMX Rampage at the Grandstand featuring Adam Jones, X-Game gold medalist with his action team. Thursday, it's the Outlaw Mariachi. Friday, it's the White Album Ensemble. Saturday, Red returns, a Taylor Swift tribute band. And Sunday, the Chata Show, and that evening, Los Dinos. And our drone show at 9 o'clock each night. Pre-sale tickets and information at SantaCruzCountyFair.com.
When you need help escaping from an abusive relationship, call on the Angel.
Hello, I am attorney Angel Hess, and I am ready to help you. Whether you or a loved one needs legal protection from an abusive spouse, cohabitant, or neighbor, I will help you. I have over 7 years' experience working as a lawyer protecting others from abusive relationships.
Stop the abuse now. Call on the Angel, attorney Angel L. Hess at santacruzlegal.net.
Cannabis is one of nature's most beneficial plants. Hello, I'm Jenna. Treehouse Dispensary, we use information about cannabis to build community. Listen to Carly.
Thanks, Jenna. For those who wake up in the middle of the night, Treehouse suggests a THC CBN chocolate edible blend like Sleepy Time from Sensi Chew. Sleep the night away.
For answers to your cannabis questions, ask your friends at Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 Soquel Drive in Soquel, or ourtreehouse.io.
What's your family eating for dinner? Chef Ben here at the Back 9 Grill and Bar, where you can pick up family dinner that feeds 4 to 6 hungry people. Family meals include a full rack of ribs, a whole smoked chicken, pound of pulled pork, and plenty of barbecue sauce. Served with a full quart of baked beans, coleslaw, macaroni and cheese, dinner rolls, pickles, a side of onions, and for dessert, brownies with a pint of Mary Ann's vanilla ice cream. Call and order your family's dinner about 15 minutes before you want to eat. See you at the 9.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We were just talking about the self-driving car option that Tesla's now offering for $99 a month. There's pros and cons about this. A lot of people feel like it's an extra level of freedom. Or if you have a disability in some way, it'll allow you to drive. It'll be able to go places. Somebody just dropped in the studio here, Billy Sunshine. You guys, some of you guys probably know it there.
Mic on.
And put my earphones on. So first of all, let me wish you all a happy New Year.
Which New Year is it?
It's the first of Elul, and that's the New Year for animals in the Hebrew calendar. So be kind to your animals today.
Okay.
I'm with Arrow here, my puppy. Yeah. And that's it. I just wanted to wish you all a happy New Year, because it is the New Year. Today is the New Year for animals.
New Year for animals.
We are animals too. That's right. It's the other thing, Bobby.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about lithium oratate.
Yes.
What do we know?
What I've discovered recently is they've been doing this research on Alzheimer's and dementia, and all these years, for 20-some years, they've been saying, oh, it's the beta amyloids or these tau tangles that are clogging the brain, and that's causing dementia. But it turns out the correlation between how much dementia you have and the amount of beta amyloids There is no correlation, apparently. And the only correlation is the lack of lithium in the brain over time. So if you get lithium oratate, because I used to have girlfriends and they were bipolar and
Me too.
schizoaffective. Yes.
Yeah, I was on lithium carbonate when I was around 1920 for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. So I noticed when they would take it, they would become very level, but so level that they became boring.
Well, exactly. And that's why I stopped.
Exactly.
I miss the highs and the lows.
Yeah. And there's very strange side effects too, skin reactions, all kinds of stuff. But there is this new lithium, it's called lithium oratate. And I first heard about it from the guy that wrote the book, Dr. Gray, Men Are From Mars and Women from Venus.
Yeah.
He started talking, he's a psychologist, and he started taking this lithium oratate. Over the years, I was taking it like maybe once or twice a week. I thought I really don't need it. But then they're saying if you take it every day, what it does, it balances your dopamine and serotonin levels so that you don't become manic or depressive. It levels you off. And there's a correlation between lack of lithium in the brain and dementia. So I've been taking it every day. I feel better. I'm happier.
Wow.
I don't have very many mood swings or anything. And lithium oratate is a much safer version of lithium.
As I understand, it's like you take 1,000th of what you would have taken of lithium carbonate.
That's right. Yes. You take thousands.
So it's a microdose.
Yes.
Jordan
micrograms.
Gruber, pay attention.
Yes. So if you know people that are losing their mind, both mentally and also psychologically, that are imbalanced, it will balance their chemicals in the brain.
And I understand this is over the counter. We can walk into CVS and get this?
Yes, that's right.
On Amazon
Yeah.
for $13.95 for a bottle.
Yeah, Dr.
120.
Niebuhr has been producing a version that Dr. Gray was talking about years ago, like 10 years ago. So that's the version I get. But there's other ones out there. I just know that Dr. Niebuhr has been developing this for a long time, and it's very pure, apparently. But it's inexpensive.
How did this come up, Billy?
They did it in a friend of mine called me and said, hey, because he knows I'm losing my mind. He says, I think I found something that's perfect for you. And he sent me a little article. And they've done it with mice, and they think it's really helpful.
Yeah.
And now they've done it with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bobby, you're naturally calm, but I'm kind of curious how it's going to affect you, Billy.
I've never been calm, so we'll see.
I know. All right. Yeah. Hey, anxiety. And
Bobby and I are nothing alike, so it'll be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Just right. Personalized medicine at its finest. Well, keep us posted on that one.
I will let you know how I'm doing.
But I'm going to ask you, would you drive in a self-driving vehicle?
Oh, sure I would.
Yeah,
I would.
You wouldn't have a problem with that, huh?
No. I look forward to getting in one of the Waymo taxis if I'm ever in San Francisco and somehow I'm not driving. I love driving, though.
You do.
I enjoy it too much
Yeah,
to
well,
really
your
let
generation-
the car do it for me.
Yeah, your generation, it was fun to drive.
Oh, absolutely. Even when I'm with my friends, after I leave my friends, I get in the car, I turn the music on, and I light a joint. That's when I'm happy. That for me is joy.
Yeah.
Driving home after a lovely evening with friends. I suspect I'm antisocial on some level.
But look, you see, one of the things some of the self-driving companies are putting forth is that to design a vehicle that looks like a traveling living room, not even a steering wheel.
Right, there's nothing there, yeah.
Yeah, so it's more like...
couches facing each
Yeah,
other.
you just smoke the joint in the...
Smoke the joint, have sex, and be in the car.
Yeah, and then you're at your destination.
Yeah.
And you're at the party.
That's not a bad choice for some of us.
No.
And that's
right.
the whole point. Choice. This is what technology and the future offers us. Choice.
Yeah. And being driven around is something that only rich people did in the past.
There you go. Now it's for everybody for a moment or two.
Well, until you own one. The full self-driving package is $8,000 on top of what you pay for your Tesla.
Ridiculous. It should be just part of the whole.
Or $99 a month extra.
Also crazy.
Yeah, you think it should just
How would you do that?
Well,
Which one would you
what's
take
the
advantage
overhead for having the self-driving network up and operational? It's probably pretty expensive. So I would think they should get something for that if that has to be used.
I'm not worried about the expense of Tesla. Didn't they just offer Musk another $30 billion or something.
Well, that's him personally, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But,
So I think they're doing fine.
Yeah. What's exciting to me, at least, is how it affects, me. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what should be important to you.
Yeah. Well,
first you and then your country.
yeah. And especially when it's a product that's supposed to be for you. Your transportation is a core thing. And it's my belief that transportation could get fast, cheap, and out of control for the entire planet. We could have easy travel to other countries, and
It's
wouldn't be a big
inevitable,
deal.
and it's
Yeah.
right around the corner. And
Exactly.
once we get it perfect, we get flying cars too, because the same technology that you can use on the road will work for flying cars.
No, they're very
So Joby is the
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just took an investment in Joby, and the next day it went down a whole lot.
Did you?
But I'm still hanging in
You're
there.
still positive about it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I saw a YouTube doc that was sent to me of this dude who travels around China looking at what's going on there in terms of tech.
And
he
what
went
is
to
going
He
on
went
there?
to a flying car company there that was connected with BYD. BYD is a
Sure,
big,
that's the big Tesla competitor.
And this car company was started in like 2011. It was by a crazy dude who created a motorcycle, basically a flying motorcycle. And it got so excited
Wow.
that he started a company. And they now claim to have 100,000 employees working on it. Most of them in R&D, like 80% in R&D, creating new craft every year. And that's ridiculous. It's insane. I mean, we don't have anything like that here in terms of the investment in the future on that level. So I'm hoping the best for Joby, and it is our homegrown entree into this world. We do have the head start in having the creativity and the amazing geniuses of our tribe, our community in the Bay Area to really move things forward. So I'm very optimistic about it, but I'm looking at what's going on in China, and it's challenging to say the least.
What's the big challenge?
You mean for transportation?
Well, no,
or
the
for
big
China?
challenge goes beyond transportation. It goes into, do you want to be a free person or not? Do you want to be subject
Yeah, we
to...
have some issues on the planet that need to be decided before we go forward with our technology.
Yeah.
Right?
Technology is moving at a pace that we can't keep up with culturally or psychologically.
Nevertheless, the technology is being developed by us and for us. And, the idea that the technology is leaving us behind is one that's perpetrated by the media. But actually, that is just the narrative of the day, because everybody in the modern world likes to try and sell you the solution. The same arguments about technology making us irrelevant were just as true in the 50s. It really depends on how you personally embrace the idea of opportunity. And that's why it comes back down to this idea of, do we have free will, or are we in some kind of feudal system where somebody else is dictating our priorities? And I think that it's just the falsehood of the media that we don't have the free will in the future. I'm a big pro-technology person, but let's not forget that technology is here to serve humanity, and humanity is here to serve life, and that this planet is counting on us to use the things that we create to preserve life. So once we get bored of this dead conversation about how the tech toys are going to kill us and the boys making the tech toys are going to kill us.
We're safe from AI? We don't have to worry?
Yeah, I think that AI is a mirror
Not
of
you, Billy.
our human consciousness, and our human consciousness is quite capable of bloodthirsty, malevolent murder. But I do think that the bulk of the human spirit is much more benevolent than that, and much more life-affirming. And if we have freedom, just like in the early days of computer, when people are free to use their creativity to solve problems that are important to them, we see a renaissance. We see a flourishing of creativity. And that's the future that I'm here for.
Where is our freedom being held back mostly? Where do you find that?
I think in the beliefs of the individuals.
So you think the
that-
media is spreading
Yeah,
false narratives for
I
us?
do. I do. I think the media is full of paid manipulation, and it is full of control freaks who are trying to scare people into doing things that are against the people's best
Yeah,
interests.
cue supercuts.
And-
Play some supercuts. It'll blow your mind.
And I'm sure that's not what journalists go into it for. So how does that happen?
Well, anybody who's got a job is basically going to follow the cues of whoever it is that's paying them. And so the whole structure of media, when we first got computers, the internet was basically free. And we were amazed that so much information that was so revolutionary in society could be
right there.
delivered for free. And we should have seen the cost of everything driven down, but unfortunately, we have a greed model that is driving innovation in this world. And so we have a whole bunch of yahoos that basically think that instead of cost being what determines how much people pay for things, it should be how much people want it. And it should just be that those who have more money get to set the price of things. Well, that model is going to die. That model is not going to create a desirable world for the majority of the people. And we're entering a time where those things that don't serve the good of life and the good of people and the good of the planet are going to go away. And we're going to watch a lot of chaos as that happens. But
transitions are hard, but it's
transitions
important.
are hard, and what people believe about themselves and the way that they are supported in the world is very important.
As a working journalist, I was on an antivirus van with John McAfee. We were interviewing John McAfee, who started McAfee Antivirus. And I was about to introduce him to Captain Crunch, but that's another story. We were in the van, and there was this other journalist that joined us who worked for Time magazine. So I asked him about this. I asked him about whether or not there's any political biasing or biasing of his stories when he is a writer for a big magazine like that. You know what his answer was? He says, not directly. Right? He said,
I'm aware of what they want. They
what
don't
happens,
tell me.
and there's my experiences too, is that you go in, how does the story get approved for publication? Usually there's a group of editors that get around, people read out their story ideas, and then either the leader says no, or the group has a vote of some sort and decides, yeah, that should go. Or a couple of people can argue for the case of a particular story. So I think that's probably still pretty normal. What's changed is that when I was in the industry, the editorial was separate from the advertising part of the magazine. And now I don't think there's such a great separation. Now they serve each other, and as such, less trustworthy in terms of being accurate news.
Yeah, I'd say that what's been going on in the last, say, 10 years as the computers have saturated society, people have become more obsessed with numbers because that's what computers give them the ability to do, is just keep track of every receipt and every cost. And it's as if the whole world is now financial, and therefore people are keeping score according to how many profits they were able to accumulate. And instead of, if you remember back to the days when we had less technology, fewer channels, and a lot more volunteers, we used to spend a lot more of our time telling stories that moved our hearts and telling stories that amplified heroism and telling stories that brought out the best in humanity and gave people that inspiration to be
less
like
data,
that.
more heart.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, breaking news. Starship 10 is a third launch attempt in about an hour and 25 minutes.
Ooh, good. We'll have to track that.
Yeah,
That
thanks,
sounds
Richard.
fun.
That's Richard Cray sent in that.
Wow.
Our listening audience. Yeah. So we tend to be optimists on all these things. Cautionary tales exist, but I feel that we're on a very narrow path to maximum success, but if we stay on the path...
Well, we have no
we'll be
choice.
good. Yeah.
The future is inevitable.
Yeah.
We're going to find ourselves there.
Yeah. And
so we just have to sort of manage a little bit how we get there.
Right. If it's not fun, it's a lesson.
Yeah. I don't want to learn any more lessons. I know enough now.
You know enough lessons?
I'm done learning lessons.
We know everything we need to know in order to create a better... In order to hijack the starship.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Well, I mean,
Wooden
we've got
ships,
some
kids.
we've got a great article here about robots for the elderly.
Yeah, that's another.
right?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Let me know. I need my bot.
Okay, so you're...
I thought I needed a sex bot. Now I just realize I need someone to take care of me. Yeah.
Well, there's been a major study that's been looking at this from Stanford and the University of Tokyo. It looks at, well, what do we want as elderly? And they analyzed the situation and said, we want three kinds of robots. We want transfer robots, and those who assist caregivers by lifting, rotating, and repositioning you.
Okay.
You know,
That
so
makes sense.
Yeah,
So your
like in a
caregiver,
Especially somebody
hospital.
like me, as big as I am.
yeah, right.
You can't have some
Can't
little
move.
Filipino woman take
No.
care of me and move me.
No, she should do other things.
Yeah, you need
Shouldn't
one
have
for
to do
each
that.
limb.
Yeah.
I always say about them, take two, they're small.
Okay, so transfer robots are one kind. Another kind are mobility robots.
How's that different? Oh, you mean like to drive me around?
They help you move around or bathe or navigate your environment.
Can't the transfer robot do that?
There's a
Already you're making
difference-
it more expensive.
Now, we're talking about
Well, it could.
existing
3 in 1.
robots.
3 in 1, maybe.
No, but this is the equivalent of like your walker, right? This is going to support you while you go about your life, as opposed to for somebody who's in a bed and
It
has,
has to be
moved.
picked up, turned around, bathed. Yeah, yeah. What's
And
the third?
The third are their monitoring and communications robots. Those are like computer vision systems and bed sensors that track your movement and share data with your healthcare providers.
Oh, gosh. I
Yeah,
don't
is
want to
that
get
what
any
you want?
older.
Monitors.
That's right. Somebody's got to look at that data.
Let's get back to the hard part.
You.
Yeah.
Well, the hard part is that every situation is unique and different. So it's never the same twice productions for a lot of what these robots need to do. It's not exactly the same. So they have to adapt to the circumstances at hand. Like one day you might have to be picked up on the left side, the other on the right. So they should be able to have good communications with you to know exactly what you need.
Oh, and I think this is a really interesting
Yeah.
point that the increased use of robots in these healthcare jobs has not led to job losses. In fact, it has correlated with overall rise in employees. And because they augment what the
'Cause they can do more.
employees are doing,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
employees are happier.
Yeah.
And thus there's less people leaving the
And they're
industry.
staying in the, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yes. So the
Because
physical,
that's hard work.
the physical labor, and the low wages have been a burnout for a lot of those Filipinos that you mentioned.
Oh, low wages. Let me see if I understand why they're low wages. Oh, it's a woman-centered business, like nursing or teaching, and we just don't pay women what
No,
we should.
no, we
do
don't. We don't, and we'll pay robots even less.
How does science kill the patriarchy? We need the patriarchy to disappear for the future.
I'm very concerned that we are turning over a lot of power to automated systems that never die. And we're
Outdated
sort of
automated
acting
systems.
like laws should benefit corporations more than people. And it's really important that we remember that the whole goal of society is that we're better off when we help each other. And if that stops being the case because those who are helping each other are just a bunch of machines, we're missing the
We're getting
point
lost.
of our human existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the road ahead with this is being able to create these robots that actually do what we really need them to do and to be relatively inexpensive and to be smart, because one mistake by one of these robots could get them sued. Then they would be.
Yeah, they got to get it right.
Yeah.
And mistakes are inevitable.
Mistakes invariably happen, but the first newspaper headline that blares about robots injuring a human is going to be heard everywhere, and then there's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be a big
That'll be
outcry.
amplified.
Big outcry against robots, and is that even justifiable, really? Well, look at the history of airplanes or cars. The crashes were unbelievable.
And they still occur.
And they still
less
occur.
all the time.
Yeah. And you know why? Because we really want cars. We really want to have transportation.
And we'll put up with some danger.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that if we really want to have this kind of care that they can offer, and if it's really worth it, then we'll put up with these accidents.
Well, it's like the self-driving cars are going to be 1,000 times better than us, but still, on occasion, they will screw up.
Something weird's going to happen.
Yeah. We're not looking for perfection. We're just looking to make things better.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well,
That's
I
right.
think the big key is appreciation too, that it's very important that we change the flavor of our public discourse from the vibration of hate and criticism and one-upsmanship to the vibration of admiration, appreciation, and hero recognition.
We're not getting that role model from the top of our society at the moment.
You just have to look for it.
Getting harder to find.
Yeah, I think
really is.
people direct their attention to what their own obsessions are. So that's why the media is so full of trash, because there's so many people that are more interested in trash than elevation.
So let's find a place, maybe Substack is a good place to look, where people are doing interesting work, saying interesting things without having a boss to tell them what to say.
Or
So maybe we
just
should look for that kind of
look
thing.
for the old Dr. Future show archives,
Well,
because-
decentralize and centralize. I think that simultaneously. There's different layers of the nervous system, the way I understand it.
Yeah, I watch Fox and MSNBC.
Yeah, and you listen to me.
Bet I do.
So we have a nice
30
combination.
seconds.
So thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate you stopping
Pleasure.
by. Yeah, it's great to see you.
Billy, it's so
I'll
great to
talk-
see you.
Thank you, Bobby. I'll talk to you all tomorrow on the Gary Shapiro show.
All right. Say hi to Gary for us.
You bet I will.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, folks, for listening. Appreciate your attention.
It's great to see you, Norm, back there.
Norm likes to listen and watch and comment to us.
After the fact.
Yes. Later. Bye for now.